We're on a day trip into northern Seoul, going to what's called a Hanok village. Traditional style houses. You can see a nice mountain up ahead of us. I'm going to show you some of these old style houses, and then road test passing through, which I remixed last night, and gonna go back at it again tonight after the road test. Let you hear the road test for reference, because the road test kind of informs what I want to do next, how I want to proceed, which I'll explain tonight if I got the jam. Longsuffering Missus and I are both dealing with allergies today, and that does take some wind out of your sails. Okay, so I'm going to pause it now and resume when we get to the Hanok village. Alright, we're entering the Hanok village now, and there's apparently a somewhat famous temple here called Jinkwansa. So these are not really old houses, but they're built in the old traditional style. So which way? Straight? Straight? Alright, well, we got to figure out parking here, and I'll pause again and resume when we get out. Okay, so I don't know if the camera stabilization is working right now. It seems to turn itself on and off. I don't have any control over it. I probably do, but I haven't found it. But it seems to turn itself on and off. Anyway, this is, traditional Korean architecture. These are new buildings, pretty recent, but that's what that looks like. It's really cool. It's Korean, and you can get online and find pictures of it, but while we're here, I thought I would just give you a little bit of travelogue. I'm not going to go on too long with this. Yeah? Parking? Oh, well. So I'll just round the next bend here. And see if we find anything else interesting. Alright, so that's a pretty cool looking house. Apparently people actually live in these. This is a real residential neighborhood. Probably have to have some pretty serious money to live here, to own here. But yeah, this is again Eunpyeong Hanok village. So Eunpyeong, if you wanted to look it up on Google Earth or whatever, that's Eunpyeong, is Eunpyeong, and Hanok is Hanok village. So we're just wandering around here for a little bit. Might visit the temple. So similar architecture with the temples, but the temples tend to be brightly painted, and these are more just subdued earthen tones. Quite nice. I certainly wouldn't mind living in one. At least one of the modern ones. I actually spent time in a old house in this country on more than once actually, and they can get pretty cold in the winter. So these modern ones they've got obviously better heating, and they've got air conditioning and all that. But they look pretty cool from the outside, don't they? So this is one of the areas of, by northern Seoul, I mean north of the Han River. You've heard of Gangnam. That means literally south of the river. So all the nice mountains are in the north of the river, Gangbuk. And so this is one area that we're thinking of settling down in when we get ready to hit the home stretch. Of course, with the way the world is going, there's just no guarantees of anything. There's nice rugged mountains in the background there. That's one of the appeals of this area. Nice fall flowers, October 1st, and it feels like October. Suddenly, we had a really hot September. Hot and humid. September is normally hot but dry, but this was a hot and humid September. That's a cool gate with the tigers. No more tigers here anymore, but back in the day, there were Siberian tigers in Korea, but they all fled up to Russia. Some say during the Korean War. They were just like, fuck this noise. And they went up to Siberia, and now they're called Siberian tigers, and they're the biggest tigers in the world. But yeah, traditional Korean art motifs full of tigers, because they used to actually be here. All right, so you get the idea. These are Hanok houses, and there's a long-suffering missus. She doesn't like to be on camera, but I can get glimpses of her. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pause again here, and if we go to the temple, I'll just give you a short view of that, and then back on the road test passing through, and then I'll have a reference for tonight's session. Wow. All right, well, look who bounced into our path from the from the grass over there. They just bounced right into our path and came. Obviously they want something to eat, but they're friendly. They're not feral, but we don't have any food right now. We have some tuna fish in the car, right? Did you bring tuna? That's in the car. Okay. They look well fed anyway. They're somebody's pets. All right. Thought I'd throw in a few kittens there, a daily dose of cute. On to the temple. Okay, so now we're about to start our ascent to the temple. Not sure how far up it's going to be, but I'm out in wide view now, wide angle, just to get the mountains in. They're bigger than they look. Right up ahead, that's either a Nepalese or Tibetan monk in the dark, I guess that's a maroon robe. Yeah, so just need to make a pit stop here and then going up to the temple. Looks like it's not that far. These twisty pines, and they're not as twisty as they get, but twisty pines. Where I come from in the States, pines, Colorado, partly where I grew up, pines tend to be pretty much straight. But here in Korea, these are called sonamu, twisty pine trees. And you can see them in a lot of the ink paintings. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Twisty pines, sonamu. And they can get very twisty indeed, especially as you get up the mountain. All right. Back in the car for a snack. What? She has no tolerance for hunger. So, snack. Why? They can't see Korean food? Why? Just rice and some tuna fish and some radish kimchi. I don't know why she's being shy about it. Anyway, I was thinking that was probably not a Nepalese monk or a Tibetan monk, although you can see them here sometimes. But I passed him, and when I got a look at him, he looked Mongolian. And Mongolians could pass for Koreans because, well, they probably have haplotypes in common. They look similar. A lot of Koreans are related to Han Chinese, as are Mongolians. I'm not turning the camera on you, it's okay. So he's probably a Mongolian monk. They're more common here than Tibetans or Nepalese. They get visiting monks from all over the world. So we're near a major temple, and there are foreign monks here. Anyway, I gotta wait this out, and then up to the temple, and then road testing, passing through. All right, finally making our way up toward the temple. And I got it a wide angle again, just to take in as much of the view as we can. Still don't know how long of a walk it's going to be, so I'm going to hit pause, come back. All right, so that sign reads 종교를 넘어, beyond religion. And that sign reads 마음의 정원, garden of the mind. And then finally Jinkwansa, that's the name of the temple that we're going to. Typical mountain stream, and here's the main gate. And these are very common at the entrances of temples. I guess they're stupa, pillars on tortoises with dragons on the pillars. And I used to know what all that meant, but I forgot. Anyway, there's the main gate. And there's the temple up there, so we'll be there soon. More twisty pines, sonamu. Although, as I said, they get a lot twistier. But yeah, this is a pretty quintessentially Korean vibe here. This is what it's like if you come to Seoul and you get a little bit off the beaten path, which I recommend. Unless you're just into the K-pop and K-beauty and all that jazz. It's worth getting up into the northern parts and the mountains and the temples and the shrines and the hermitages even. There's a long-suffering Missus slowly making her way up, having a postprandial snack. She's a cute lady when she's in a good mood. Now that she had something to eat, she's in a pretty good mood. Allergies notwithstanding. There's a path where you can walk up onto the mountain. And these are lanterns. Pretty common thing to see on the way to a temple. Although these are left over from Buddha's birthday, which happens in May. I guess they just never bothered to take them down. All right, getting there. Now here where I'm standing, I wish you could smell this scent that's in the air. There's a traditional tea house, and you can smell some of the tea, the aroma wafting out of the tea house. It smells like lotus. It smells like lotus tea. But I can also smell a little bit of burning mugwort, which is a very common ingredient of incense in this country. It's a plant. It's called suk in Korean, mugwort in English, and it's eaten here and burned as an incense. It's supposed to have purifying effects on the body and also on the energy body and the energy of places and things. So anyway, where do you want to go? You want to go up here? Yeah, okay. We're going to go up the stairs here. And that's what a Korean monk looks like. The Korean monks wear gray robes for the most part. There's some monks up there. That was a biguini, a nun. All right, so this is actually a fairly large temple complex. So I mentioned earlier that the Hanok houses are earthen toned and quite plain, but the temples are usually brightly colored. That looks to be a pretty old bell tower. Not really a tower, but it's called a bell tower. Let's take a look at the bell there. These bells are really quite something. And it's not even a particularly big one. The temple where I lived had the bell was easily twice the size of this one, and I used to get up before dawn every morning and hit it 33 times with a big log on chains. Swing the log and let gravity take it on into the bell. Incredible sound comes out of those things. So yeah, these are I can tell by the paint. These don't look to be recent reconstructions. Not that recent anyways. A lot of the temples are reconstructed because of Japanese invasions over the centuries. So it's rare to see a temple that's actually hundreds of years old. But it's what they look like. And I'm not going to film inside. It's kind of frowned upon. These are just different shrines. Let's see who's in here. All right. Okay, this is okay, in the middle, that's the historical Buddha, Shakyamuni. And then probably off to the side, we've got Manjushri and Avalokiteshvara, Bodhisattvas. And this is probably a, well, it's more of a Chinese-looking Buddha in the middle there. He's got an interesting expression on his face. Can't zoom in right now. And somewhere in here there's probably a mountain god shrine. The Sanshin, the mountain gods. Okay, let's see. Lost track of the long-suffering missus. Where did she get off to? I'm going to pause it and find her. Okay, I found her over by the water fountains. Now we're going to go down these stairs here. See where it leads us. Guardians of the Dharma. More lanterns. Okay. All right. Looks like that goes up the mountain. We're going to have to go back this way. Okay. Okay, more twisty pines with a little park in the middle of which looks to be a very old pagoda. That thing is pretty worn down. Again, I've got it on wide angle so you can't see it too good, but that's an old one right there. And we're just walking over here to see what this is. See what this building is. I'm guessing, see down there, restaurant, temple stay. Okay, so this looks to be a residential building. So the buildings that we just saw, that's the main part of the temple. Sleeping quarters right here, and probably the dining area. That's one thing you can do here is temple stay. Look it up on the internet. Again, if you want to come here and get a little off the beaten path, that's one thing you can do. You don't even need very many days here to do it. Just it can just be an overnight trip to a temple. And it's a good experience. When I lived in a temple, I was in charge of the temple stay, taking care of the guests in that temple. So it looks to be about it. Let me see. Not the biggest and most impressive of temples, but quite nice. Nice temple. Up here, these are more like the Hanok houses in terms of colors, right? But I'm guessing those are probably offices, administrative buildings. Okay, so that's pretty much it for Jinkwansa. Little gift shop. Might as well walk into the gift shop. Bags of rice. These are devotional bags of rice. You don't buy them to take them home and eat. Oh, you could. But the idea is you buy a bag and you leave it as an offering to the monks, to the temple, to the Buddha, to the Sanshin, the mountain gods. Yeah, beads. Let's see if there's anything else of interest in here. Let's see if I can find a moktak. Probably not. Oh, these are pretty cool. I've got one of these as a triptych. I got one that I brought up from Laos that I like. And when we moved, I lost track of it. Been looking for it. Set up in my studio. But yeah, they fold like that. Portable shrine. Yeah, okay. These are pretty cool. That looks to be, oh, it's probably Kwanseum Avalokiteshvara. That's the Buddha. And incense, candles, sesame oil, all right, so there's the gift shop. Okay, all right, so that's it. That's Jinkwansa near Eunpyeong Hanok village. And there's the long-suffering Missus sneezing. We've both had the sneezes today, pretty bad. And you might be able to tell by my voice, I'm kind of deflated. Yes, between yesterday and today, the allergies have been pretty bad. But 'tis the season. I guess these pine trees must be procreating. They got their pollen flying around. Anyway. Okay, so that's it for today's travelogue. Oh yeah, I still need to road test the mix in the car. So maybe I'll put that at the beginning of the actual mixing session video. I think I'll do that. So this concludes the travelogue. Alcoholic audio engineer and the long-suffering Missus from lovely scenic Eunpyeong-gu, Seoul, South Korea. Might as well get up here and do another close-up of the gate. It's got some cool paintings on it. It's a nice stone relief Buddha. Nice one, actually. Doesn't look to be too old, but yeah, nicely done. And you can't see it too well, the lighting, but it's pretty. It's pretty. Temples are pretty here. Go to Japan, the colors are more subdued. Okay, that's it. Over and out. Okay, so a little addendum on the way out. Here's a sign with a paragraph on the history of the temple. It might not be very readable, depending on the screen that you're looking at it on, so I'll just read through it. Jinkwansa Temple is widely regarded as one of the four most prestigious historic Buddhist temples in Seoul. The temple was originally established as Shinhyolsa, but in 1010 it was reestablished by King Hyunjong of Goryeo, 918 to 1392. That's the Goryeo period, not the king's reign, obviously, who wanted a shrine to honor great priest Jingwan, probably Jingwan, for having saved his life during the process of his succession to the throne. In the Joseon period, 1392 to 1910, the temple became a venue for the state-sponsored land and water ceremony, Suryukje, and housed a government-run library. I can't quite make out that word. Anyway, where a group of Jinkwansa scholars secretly studied the Korean writing system now called Hangul. The discovery of a Korean national flag during the recent repair work carried out on Chulsongak Shrine revealed that the temple was used as a base for the Korean independence movement during Japanese colonial rule, 1910 to 1945. In a fire that broke out during the Korean War, the temple lost all of its facilities save for 3 prayer halls, including Nahanjeon Hall. It wasn't until after 1963 when it came to be headed by a bhikkhuni, that's a nun, a female monk, named Choi Jingwan, that the temple finally managed to recover from the damage and grew to become the beautiful Buddhist temple that it is today. So one really cool thing about living here as an American is just things are just so much older. The history is so much older than it is in America. And although Korea has modernized, and again, if you come here and you just hang out in Gangnam, and you know, it's kind of like, compared to America, it's like being in hyperspace. It's like the most internet connected country in the world, the last I heard, and it's like hyper modern in a lot of respects, but still you don't have to go far to realize just how old it is. And yeah. And also you notice that from that paragraph that it was a woman that brought that temple back. And Korea is still a pretty conservative society, but there've been a lot of powerful women in the course of Korean history. There have been queens, and Korean women they're not downtrodden, and yeah, it's still a pretty good society. It hasn't really been infected by the postmodern neo-Marxist insanity that is rotting away Western civilization. Not to get too political, but it is. It's still a pretty good society. Okay, it looks like Longsuffering Missus is making one final pit stop. She's had some coffee today, so she's leaking. Yeah. And the sun came out, so it's just a beautiful October day. All right, so this concludes the travelogue for real this time, back in the parking lot. And gonna close out the travelogue and record the road test. And I feel like I'm bouncing back a little bit, so I should be able to do the mixing session tonight. All right, that's it for now.